Hello and welcome everybody to the Icebreakers bonus episode, the Icebreakers Lookbook, where I am joined by my fantastic host, Alexandra Sharman. Hi,
hello! And I love that you look stunning as usual, but look at us, we're kind of matchy-matchy. I love that. It's happened without, we didn't really have time to chat to each other today about looks, so we've just done it.
Great minds think alike. So Alex and I are here tonight, and we are going to be breaking down all the looks for you from the semi-final. But as an additional bonus for you guys, we're also going to be talking through some historic Jayne and Chris Bolero looks. Now, we know that coming into the final now, it is going to be the big one. The Bolero's coming out in spades. So we're all dressed in our fineries, our purples in tribute to the king and queen of the ice. Of course, Jayne and Chris, so we're going to be getting to their looks later. Of course, Alex and I have both performed Bolero, so we might have a little bit of a walk down memory lane on our looks for the Bolero. But first things first, Alex, what a semi-final. How was it for you?
Oh, yeah, what a semi-final. Honestly, there was so much going on, and then I was shocked, surprised, everything, but I did love it, and there was some amazing looks. And I really thought, did you think it was a bit Oscar themed? I know that you and Matt Evers on the main podcast, Icebreakers podcast, where you discuss everything. So if you haven't watched that one, please go and check it out. You were dressed very elegantly, inspired by the Oscars for sure. But I thought the show had a bit of that vibe too. What did you think?
Definitely. I mean, back in the day when Dancing on Ice used to be longer and we used to have maybe 14 episodes per series, we used to do an Oscars-themed show. I don't know if you remember. And they'd bring out all the old Oscars themes, which I guess is what Movie Week is kind of like now. But I sort of miss the Oscars because it's such a glamorous time. And I think it's just always so perfect that it falls on the same day as Dancing on Ice. So I feel like they missed a bit of an opportunity. But you're right, there were nods to the Oscars throughout the show. And yes, of course, I wore my gold for the main episode with Matt Evers, where we discussed all of the skating and we got down to the nitty-gritty and the gossip.
Yes, but we're going to discuss the looks, and I actually thought it was a really fun show. So if we actually dig right in, start from the top, where we had Sam and Molly come out first, and they skated to Want to Break Free by Queen. So it was a bit of Freddie Mercury inspired, but I love this look for them. I have to say, I love that the pink hair was back, but I love this red and black and pleather. And actually, Sam's shirt was really sparkly as well. I thought it was really a good attack. And actually, that highlighted in the skating as well, which I'm not supposed to talk about. But I love the number, actually. I thought the skating was there. It was great. And I love, the tie tucked into. No, I love this animal print. I felt like there was a lot of things going on. And I really, really, really love this on them and for them.
So you can talk about the skating as much as you want, Doll, because there's nobody is more qualified than Alexandra Sharman to talk about pair skating. Let me put that out there into the universe right now. But yeah, getting back to the looks, I was surprised when they came out. I was like, oh, that's a little bit kinky, kind of fetish, kind of leather, pleather, black and red, and there was a lot of shiny vinyl going on, and then the black fishnets, and obviously her pink hair is always, Molly's hair always looks fantastic. I'm so jealous of the pink. But he also had this very kind of vinyl-y, as you mentioned, sort of leopard print, but black and red shirt with a black tie tucked in. It was really a rebellious look for them. And it was quite a shock to me because as I mentioned on the original Icebreakers podcast earlier in the week, I've skated to this routine. And when I did it, it was a completely different feel to it. Obviously, I'm going back about 12 years, so we're probably a bit more family-friendly back then. And I don't think this look would quite have flown with the ITV audience back in those days. But this was quite an almost a kinky look, and I'm here for it. I actually really loved it. I was a bit shocked though when they came out. I was like, oh, where is this going to go?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I actually, obviously, I kind of like that they didn't put him in a Freddie Mercury wig or anything. Like, I kind of didn't like, I like that this wasn't, gimmicky. I just feel like they haven't really had this look, especially Sam hasn't gone on full, sex vibes and stuff. And I really, again, you said maybe not appropriate for a family-friendly show. I'm getting too excited here. I must slow down. No, but I actually loved it for them. And I thought it was a great way to open the semifinals.
So we have to talk about Molly's look. I mean, absolute stunner. I hope she kept this look and went to the bar afterwards looking like this because she's absolutely gorgeous. Now, this pink hair, and we've seen Molly with pink hair several weeks. We know that she has pink hair. I'm a big fan of the pink hair, not going to lie. But do you think that's a wig? I have to ask you, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure actually. Again, the Glam Squad are that amazing that just keep us guessing. But I just because it's a different cut, unless she cut a fringe and maybe shortened her own hair, because I don't think it's that quite that short. But I'm not sure. But I love that the pink was back. Obviously, we saw her in a wig last week where she was quite the dark brunette, sultry brunette. But I love her in this pink hair and the full brows. Excuse me. And I love the eye makeup. It was just gorgeous on her. And then that dark red lip. What did you think?
I mean, she looks total diva. Look at her. She could be on the cover of a magazine right now. I love the fact that they've done a full pink eyeshadow. And I want to talk about this a little bit. I think we need to talk a little bit later in our tutorial about bravery, because a lot of people would think I am not putting pink all over my eyelid. And I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't think to do that either. But when we break this down, and obviously pink with a red lipstick, again, that's a very brave choice. And it's something that, not everybody could pull off. But probably more people can pull it off than you think. You just have to try. And I think if you can get a close up there, if you can see, they've gone really high with the eyeshadow, almost up to the brow. She's got a tiny little bit of a highlighter underneath the brow, in between the pink and the brow, and then a really deep, dark liner. Now, Molly's got these gorgeous blue eyes, so that deep, dark liner, and then the big black eyelash just finishes it off. But look at that red lipstick. Now, who would have put a red lipstick with a pink hair, whether it's pink wig or pink her natural hair, and a pink eye? I would never have thought of that, and it absolutely works perfectly. She looks gorgeous.
Yes, gorgeous. They were both looking very, very gorgeous. And I love that the red lip really highlights the costume as well and just brought out all this. Yeah, they looked so fierce out there. I was so pleased for them. And obviously love the skate as well. Love the routine. Loved it. It was 10 for me.
Love that they got a 10. Woohoo! We should have like some confetti cannon or something for that. Boom, boom.
I know, we should have it go gold. Yes, obviously they went red, but anyways, if we move on to those who weren't in red, a bit more of a softer look, skating second was Dan and Vanessa. And they had a lovely piece. Oh, I love this one. It's Dancing on My Own by Callum Scott. I've actually skated to it myself with James Jordan. But I really, really like this. Like, she had like light blue, or I don't know, amethyst, dark blue, like chiffon. There was some lovely details on her with the sparkly headband, and she had actually, which I know you're not a fan of, but she had crystals kind of in the crease of her eye as well. But what did you think of their look here?
I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here on Vanessa's face, because we can see a little bit of that headband that you were talking about. I'm not sure if do you think it's a headband, or do you think it's a something that's been woven into her hair there? I'm not sure. It looks stunning.
It could be like a Diamante band that's been woven in. You're right, into like the updo as well, the half updo. But it was stunning. It was really sparkling. I could see it like through my screen as well when they were doing throughout the routine. So it was really pretty. Just a gorgeous look.
These really soft curls on her, very, very soft, pretty, really fitted the music very well. Everything was floaty, everything was romantic, everything was elegant, classy, very demure. But let's talk about her eyeshadow. Now, this is quite different. We haven't seen Vanessa in a look like this, I'm sure of it, throughout the entire series. They've given her a silver borderline metallic blue eyeshadow. It perfectly matches the dress. If I zoom out, you can see that it perfectly matches the color of the dress. And I would not have put this color against her skin tone. She's got such warm, goldeny tones. I would never have given her the silver, gray, blue look. But my God, does the girl look fierce. Stunning.
I feel like this is what we keep echoing and saying every week, is just that the Glam Squad are amazing at just things we think shouldn't work or in our heads don't work, just end up working fabulously. If it's combinations of looks with the costume, or if it's just, eye colors with lip color, or, with on that person, on that skin color too. So just again, hats off. It's amazing to see all these different looks, and I'm actually inspired myself.
Now, I think we talked when we did our tutorial and we talked about having a glitter eye. I think we talked about how important it is to get the base right. And so if I was doing, because she's got a darker skin tone, I have a darker skin tone too, and when not as dark as Vanessa, but when you do a light color like this, and I've done one tonight, I've done quite a light color, it's really important that you put a white base, something creamy. If you don't have a white base, you can use concealer, because that's generally tends to be a bit lighter. Or if you don't have that, worst case scenario, you can use just foundation. But it's important that you have that base so that the bright color can then pop. because otherwise, if you don't, and you put a light color like this or a metallic color like this onto a darker skin tone or a skin tone that's darker than that color, it can end up getting a bit washed out, and then you don't see the actual color of the makeup. So I'm sure here there was a lot of prep work that was done there before they put her eyeshadow on, because that color on her is absolutely knockout. Look at her beautiful face.
Yes, absolutely stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. And obviously Dan was back to looking kind of himself. No no really permy wig himself. I love this. Again, a bit of a see-through, dark blue chiffony shirt there. And I know you and Matt discussed his pants, because he actually had, what did he have? Those straps that we've been talking about.
You nearly said strap on, didn't you? You nearly said Dan had a strap on. I can tell.
Oh my God.
Panicked, I saw you. You were searching for a word. They did
definitely. I have a little tickle in my throat, so I feel like I'm trying to drink the water and everything. I'm almost full of Christopher Dean, because he almost had a little woo-hoo happening as well. I don't know if I think you guys mentioned it, but he almost, I think, had a little swear word come in. Anyways, and I'm saying dirty words as well.
Yeah, I thought Dino was going to swear, but yes, they did put some straps on Dan's trousers. That's right, some straps on Dan's trousers. Okay, so we're going to talk about Dan's straps on his trousers that he had. And you and I have discussed this. They were strapped on. You and I have discussed this several times over the last few weeks. And Matt Evers is a big fan, or not a fan, of when we don't have straps on our trousers, because if you don't put an elasticated piece on each side of the trouser, so the inside seam and the outside seam, and then have them connect either underneath, or one big piece that goes from one side to the other and have them connect with a hook, then you tend to, when you bend or when you're skating around, the trousers tend to flop about, they rise up, they're all over the place. You can see the socks, you can see the top of the skates. It's really ugly. And we've been banging on about this for ages. And this week, hallelujah, I don't know who's listening back there, but well done, they put the straps on.
I don't dare say it again, but I was very excited to see that as well. So yeah, thank you. I don't know if Dan's listened, if costumes tuned in, wardrobe, but anyways, that made me just, and I feel like it's a safety thing as well. So I'm very happy to see that. And obviously you don't have the short pants and they're not riding up and distracting from the look. So I was happy.
We do need to give him some love, because he does have a see-through shirt on, and I know you're a bit of a fan of the old see-through shirt. So we probably should give Dan some love there, because he does look pretty hot. So he's just kind of barely there covered. It's very sensual. It's not in your face. He's not topless. It's not completely see-through, but you're just getting a sort of a wisp of the body underneath, which was lovely to see with his straps on.
And I was very, very, I have to say at this point, very sad to see them go. Obviously, we had quite a shocker of a skate off. I don't know, shocker. I had said before it's 50-50 in the semifinals to be in that skate off. But very sad to see them go and see his strapped on pants go and his see-through shirt go for this week. But I think they went out on a high. So well done.
They definitely went on a high, and they definitely looked the part. So I think, when you go out of the competition, it can be really rough if you go out dressed as a dog or a tiger or a puppy, and then you have to do press, and that's the final picture that we get of you, is you dressed as a dog or a puppy or something crazy. But they looked the part. So I'm sure when they did their press after the show, they were really pleased with the photos that they'll get there. But moving on.
I agree.
Come on.
Moving on.
Come on,
to Anton. Yes. Again, a completely different look. Anton and Annette came out skating to Riding Solo by Derulo. So this was, I don't know, this costume had everything kind of going. Blue chrome. He had like the vest on. He obviously wasn't cold in the studio, probably a bit hot as well. Really like not skating costumes at all, I would say. And obviously, again, Annette, we'll talk about more about the long ponytail. Really, really, really long as well. And really interesting makeup. But what did you think of the look, Frankie?
Right, let's break this look down. When they first came out, because obviously the first time that we saw all of the celebs was when they came out solo at the top of the show. And I was like, what is Anton wearing? Like, did he forget his costume? Is this just what he turned up to wear at his rehearsal? Because he'd got the big old baggy pants on, he got the hoodie on, he got the gilet, and I was like, nobody's a little bit sparkly. I don't think he wears clothes like that in real life. So I was like, what's going on there? Well, obviously, in the fullness of time, we then saw the routine and it made total sense. I mean, he had a complete street vibe going on, and I was here for it. I mean, I know we're not supposed to talk about the skating, but my goodness, that man danced his little socks off, and I'm all over it. But we do need to talk about the fact that this was not the easiest costume to work with. I mean, it's bulky, it's flappy, it's not fastened up at the front. They did a hip lift where Annette has to put her hands on his hips and straighten her arms, and she couldn't straighten her arms, actually. I'm not sure if it's because his gilet was in the way or she couldn't get the right grip, but that is a very difficult costume to skate in. What do you think?
No, I agree. And I mean, even it had the again went super with the creative and with the music, but the hood on as well, which of course can move. They did that sort of hydroglide went together when they went down. I think that would have like disturbed me. I'm a big fan in practice to have my gilets or body warmers on because I love keeping like my back and my middle parts warm. But again, to skate in and do a performance, probably not. And like I said, it's a hot, it's a hot piece of costume to be wearing. I mean, not as hot as Sam's big bear suit, but still, I agree. It looked the part, and it definitely, highlighted and enhanced the routine for me. But it was a tricky costume to skate with. And on that note, I will say as well, I thought Annette's ponytail was fierce, but it was long. Like it was long. It was like she could have climbed down a tower from that.
Yeah, I think I did see several Disney characters escaping throughout the throughout the number. But yeah, so that ponytail, we need to speak about that. It's not actually a ponytail, it's a plait, and that makes it heavy. So if that whips around and gets in Anton's eye, very, very painful and very uncomfortable. And going back to this gilet as well, they also did a very difficult star lift where she has to put her hand fully on his shoulder and press her own weight up against that to get up into that lift. And with a gilet like that, it wasn't even fastened. I mean, that's slippery, it's padded.
Yeah.
You're not, her hand isn't that big, so it makes his shoulder twice the size. That makes the grip very, very difficult. We're getting into technical stuff here. But, when you talk about the costumes, you can't talk about that without talking about the health and safety and without talking about the technique of the skating.
No, I totally agree. And again, in this case, it's, I guess, same goes sometimes for party outfits, even if it's for regular people off the ice. But, sometimes what you wear to look the part is definitely not the comfiest. I mean, girls with our high heels and everything. But I think it's very important to mention that, this would have been a tricky costume to wear and perform in. And again, hats off that they did it so well and they were solid. And like you mentioned, all the tricks were solid as well. So I really thought, well done. And just meant it was a clip on pony. I used the wrong word, but it's a plait that becomes almost like a whip. It's quite tricky. Even on your own, you can slap yourself, but you can slap your partner. She probably could slap the front row of people in the audience.
It was so long. She was slapping half of London with that ponytail. I tell you, whip, whip, girl, whip your hair back and forth. So I have a close-up of Annette, and my God, she looks stunning. Literally, they did. She's a beautiful girl anyway, but they did a really beautiful job of her this week. And conversely, it was almost like a bit of role reversal because when we saw Sam and Molly came out, they had this quite harsh, almost dominatrix kind of leather look to them. But then they were skating to "I Want to Break Free," which is a bit mid-tempo. And these guys were like fully getting down with their bad selves. I mean, it was total street vibe. But then they gave Annette although she did have the weapon of mass destruction strapped to the back of her head in the form of that ponytail, her actual face was quite soft and gentle. Look at this.
Yeah, no, I really loved it. Again, this dewy, gorgeous skin. But yeah, you're very right. It had a purple, which goes with our theme and obviously into the final. And they ended up making it into the final, so maybe that was a bit of a nod. But I love it's like a half cut crease just on with the liner. And you're right, it's very almost less is more here. They haven't gone strong with anything. I mean, she looks stunning, so it's not taking away from that. But it was quite, like you said, almost understated makeup here, especially to go with that street piece. And I mean, Derulo and all that dancing and stuff. You would have thought maybe again on paper that it would have been a completely different look.
No, they've really sculpted her eyebrows. I don't know if you can see that there, but they've really sculpted her eyebrows. It looks like they've almost lacquered them down, which is very popular, obviously, as we know in popular culture at the moment. TikTok is full of lacquered eyebrows. It's quite a nice look on her. I mean, they're quite a strong dark eyebrow with such a light eyeshadow. So, I mean, again,
Yeah.
it's not what I was expecting. She looks beautiful. Obviously, she looks stunning, but not what I would have expected. And you talked about that half cut crease there. I'm just going to zoom in on that so everyone at home can see it. If you guys are watching us, and if you're not, well, why not? Head over to Spotify or YouTube, because we're over there and we'll be showing you all of these looks. But right now you can see that she does have a half cut crease, and that to me looks like it's been painted on with a purple liquid eyeliner, I would say.
Yes,
It's
I
just so
agree.
clean on the edges there. I don't think you
Yeah.
could get that cleanliness there with a kohl eye pencil.
Yeah, but I love this again. I think it's something I would maybe try, because I've said to you I love the cut crease. I don't feel like it maybe necessarily suits my eyes. Gone for a bit of a cat eye myself tonight, but I feel like maybe that half cut crease could be something that I might be brave and try. We'll talk about that later, but trying new things is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, that's right. I look forward to seeing it. Now, interestingly, Alex, I'm going to pick your brains on this because I am fairly convinced that back in the day, we weren't allowed to wear purple in the quarters or semi-finals. I'm fairly sure that purple was reserved for the front half of the series, or obviously Bolero. So it was quite interesting to see, Dan and Vanessa had a very purpley look to them. He certainly, you would say that's a purple shirt, really, isn't it? It's kind of got a touch of purple to it, and she's sort of got a lilac-y, lavender blue color to her. But then these guys, I mean, they were really giving me a purple vibe. Annette's makeup is purple even. And then, of course, we've got this big old gilet of doom that Anton's wearing, which is purple. There's a lot of purple in Annette's skirt. It's a blue tone purple, but it does pull purple, particularly on screen. The creative had a lot of purple in it as well. I mean, now that's quite an unusual thing, I think.
Yeah, I mean, again, makes me think, will we see purple next week for the big final? Obviously with the Boleros we should do, but they have the past few years, actually they've been mixing in a little bit and sometimes having a bit of pink in there as well, and maybe stepping aside for this mostly purple, like it was more back in the day when we had like shades of purple, definitely, yes, but not a different color. And yeah, it was definitely back in the day reserved. You did not wear purple, I don't almost think throughout the whole show. It was definitely not a color
Yeah.
that was used at all until the final, and then all we saw was purple.
Yeah, you might. I mean, I remember I had a couple of like maybe lilac-y costumes, or I had a couple of maybe like deep royal blue that was borderline purple. But again, they were much earlier in the series. You
Yeah.
never ever see like a full purple like that. And there we are, purple gilet. So well done, Anton and Annette, Antoinette, as we like to call them, because you did prevail in the skate off again for the third time. Third time's a charm, and you did make the final. And we love to see it.
Yes, loved it. And like I said, maybe it was a little bit of hint again, like, oh, that was so weird. What did I do there?
I didn't
I
see
was
it. What did you do?
but it looked like I got something in my eye. Never mind.
Thought you were flirting with me. I was all excited.
But I mean, I'm not gonna do a wink again because that was horrendous. Need to practice that. But if we're thinking that maybe the semifinals was leading into the final, skating next, we had a couple completely in gold. So is that saying something? But obviously, last out was Michaela and Mark, and they were a vision in gold. They skated to All by Myself, Celine Dion. But yeah, I mean, Golden Goddess and Mark too. I mean, this was a really sparkly, and the whole creative. The screens were gold. They had the low smoke that we mentioned last week as well. It can be a bit tricky, but what did you think of their look?
I absolutely loved her dress. Mark, you can see here in the picture, and when I zoom in it, you can see that he's got, the gold shirt and the beige trousers. But honestly, on screen, when I watched it, and I don't know if it's because I'm 52 now and my eyesight's not so great, but to me, he was pulling beige. He was a little bit bland. But I didn't mind that because she was absolutely the shining star. And it was solo week. Let's not forget that. So it's all about Michaela. Let's let her have her moment in the sunshine, as she should, because she came out of that tunnel all by herself, as the title suggests. And that was a very, very brave and lonely place to be. So I'm glad that she was the only competitor actually that started the routine by herself. And I thought it was very, very courageous. But didn't she look like an absolute golden goddess? Look at that. I don't know what it was about the lighting on the night and the creative, but her costume, well, first of all, it looked like, nude. It looked like a fully nude costume, but just subtly enough that it covered all of her modesty. And she just glittered every which way she turned. There were lights bouncing off her. She looked absolutely like a vision.
No, you're completely right. And I kind of also like that Mark was a bit not muted. Don't want to say that. You can never mute him. He's a gorgeous skater. But again, it was more about Michaela and that costume. I would love to wear that. I might nip into Bobbington and just nip that if I'm around, not around. But it was gorgeous, and just again everything about her hair, her makeup. She had again a beautiful hair piece as well that was really sparkly on the one side, these soft curls. I really enjoyed her makeup. Again, I just thought it was such a stunning piece, mesmerized, and a beautiful way to not close the show because we had more things to go, but to skate last as well. It was big shoes to come on last, but they definitely looked the part and skated the part, of course.
No, in terms of makeup, they gave her quite a peachy, fresh-faced look from the eyelashes down. But those eyes are screaming drama. And it's an interesting contrasting look, because oftentimes you think, well, when you go for a much more dramatic, dark eye, you probably need to like have, the cut contouring and the darker red lipstick. But they didn't here. And I think you have to look at your age as well and be age appropriate. Do you want everything to be super dramatic, or do you just want to highlight a feature each time? And this time they highlighted her eyes, but the way that those lashes are placed, the way that the contouring is done along the brow bone has really lifted everything. It's made her eyes really wide open. This is the widest I've seen, the widest eye look that I've seen on Michaela, because they often do a bit of a more of a smoky cat eye on her. I mean, this look, the golds, the peaches, the deep dark brown, the lashes that are only to the outside of the eye, they're not all the way across. It's really opened her up there, and I think she looked I think they got it absolutely perfect. Her costume, her hair, and her makeup were absolutely 10 out of 10, and I mean, she scored 10 out of 10 across the board. So yeah.
Yes, she scored. I was kind of upset they didn't get the full 50, which was obviously a change to the scoring this week, but stunning, and 4 10s for the routine. It was yes, gold. The studio used to go gold. Did they go gold on Sunday? Maybe I missed that. Maybe because all gold. But they used to say make a big deal out of it. It lights up gold. But anyways, they did it for them because it was really, really stunning and well deserved. What a beautiful piece.
Yeah, she was stunning. What a way to, as you say, close the competition part of the show. And here we have a quick look at all of the competitors there side by side. And you can see that it is purple end to end. I'm not going crazy. We've got Anton and Dan, or Danton as I like to call them, with the bromance, both in their sort of purple shades there. And then obviously we've got Michaela standing absolutely gorgeous in her gold. And then we've got Sam in his little kind of sex club outfit. I don't know what to call that.
Yeah, but well, again, it was different looks. We got lots of different things going on. And I kind of like that it was changed up as well, so that we saw different looks from different people. But yeah, Michaela.
Who's that?
You know what? I thought obviously leading into the final, I went to wear purple, and I was gonna try to maybe get out my Bolero outfit because I do love it. Love it, love it, love it. But anyway, went with this, but off the shoulder. My Bolero costume was kind of off the shoulder as well, and had the light to dark, which I think you had. Did you have a Bolero outfit too?
Well,
maybe.
If you guys aren't watching at home, if you're just listening, I've just flashed up a gorgeous picture of our very own Alexandra Sherman, and she looks stunning in her Bolero outfit. And we have to talk about this now because, there's only, this is it now. It's the final, and everybody's going to be, hopefully in their purples. I hope they don't change it up too much. But Alex, you look beautiful in this. You have it's high cut. It's 2 tones of purple, 2 shades of purple. I feel like I've mirrored that with my eyeshadow.
Yes,
you look beautiful. You've got almost like an elasticated waistband around that, which cinches you and gives you this blousy top part which is flowing. I mean, it's the lightest of chiffons. I can tell that material weighed absolutely nothing. And then of course you've got like the big old lace, sparkly hip. You got everything going on, girl. It was just a beautiful costume. I've just cut James Jordan out the picture there. Sorry, James, but not so interested in his outfit. So he looks great too. Yay!
he was matching me in the chiffon and the kind of not tie dye, because you're right, it wasn't that many colors, but it was a bit of a multi ombre. Thank you, ombre of purple. But no, I loved my my Bolero outfit. It's very cherished. I still have it to this day. And yeah, it's very, very proud to wear one. I have wore several throughout tours and everything, but it was very nice to have my own made.
And look who has made their own guest appearance. That is me in my Bolero costume. Now, I have to say, oh my goodness, I wore this costume so many times because we came second. So it's Chris Fountain and I, and we came second in this Bolero costume, but then we took it on tour and we were in the Bolero every single time that we performed. So this costume was honestly, it worked harder than anybody I've ever known. And I loved it because you can't really see it on this picture, but it did have quite a nod to Jayne and Chris's original Bolero. So it had this kind of crisscross of gold, giving it a very Grecian theme. And also it had the ombre skirt that we've spoken about. It was very soft and very floaty. And I just loved wearing it. And if I may, just pull up the queen of the ice here, Jayne Torval. I can show you that she almost had similar colouring to my costume, but it was reversed. So she had the lighter colour on top, whereas I had the lighter colour on the bottom. But there we can see that my costume was completely inspired by hers because it has the gold crisscross around the waist and giving it that really Grecian kind of skirt feeling. I mean, look at these two. Can we even believe that that was 40 years ago?
Yeah, it's I love this. And I have to say, I loved your Bolero. I actually was honored enough to see you in it. Obviously me and Lucas joined the tour after, and you were skating with Chris Fountain. It was the year after in 2009, but you still had, and I know that Bolero costume very well, and it suited you fantastically. And you're right, it was such a nod to Jane's original costume as well. But I mean, I think we mentioned this before, but Jane wore a lot of purple throughout her years, because obviously this original Bolero was absolutely gorgeous. That's the one they won the 1984 Olympics in. But since then, with Dancing on Ice, they've had so many versions of this and variations of this iconic performance. So we see here a little bit of a different one too. And I think every tour I've done with them, where they have done the Bolero, or where they have done the Bolero in the end of the show as well, have had a different outfit. So I don't know if she's sick of purple. I don't think so, but she definitely suits it. Chris as well. Yeah, you look very good.
I say this every week, purple suits everybody. There is a shade of purple for everybody. Now, this costume is interesting. It's like a pared down version of the Olympic Bolero costume that Jayne wore, and it's more of a modern take, I guess. We've lost the billowy flowing sleeves, which are probably more appropriate in 1984. I guess that was the fashion then. When you look at Princess Diana's outfit for her wedding dress was very billowy and poofy. But then this, I think they've stripped the sleeves back. We've still kept a nod to that gold detailing, that gold banding across the waist and the rib cage, and also, the flowy skirt. But this is a much more modern look. Chris has also a very much more modern look here. He is in, again, the ombre. I mean, they love an ombre, Jayne and Chris, don't they? I think they were the originators of the ombre, and they don't get credit for that.
No, I think actually I read about it a little bit. There was a lot of things with the original Bolero. Obviously, the number itself was, breathtaking and kind of not reinvented, but a lot.
Groundbreaking.
Yes, exactly. And the costume as well, actually. It wasn't very normal to have the ombre or the tie-dye as well going on in costumes. And they had a lot of things that were quite new in fashion. And again, they kind of carried that throughout, because obviously they're not going to wear the exact same costumes for 40 years or going to 50 now that they've been skating together. So I love that they changed it up, and that we've seen all these kind of versions throughout the years, quite different one. And they have mostly had purple, but they've had some more dark blue as well, costumes. And obviously Jayne's gone from the skating to the full long look. Yes, here we're seeing another one, because obviously with Dancing on Ice on TV as well, now that they're judging and everything, they sometimes we'll see what they wear next week for the grand finale, obviously judging, but also hopefully we'll see a performance from them. But yes, this was another lovely kind of like evening gownish, but still a nod to Bolero. Really, really liked it.
Yeah, so this one, if you're not watching us at home, and if you're only listening, this was Jayne and Chris on the ice in the classic kind of Bolero colours, but not in a classic sort of ice skating costume. So Jayne is wearing a full evening gown, and it's got, you know, the deep cleavage plunge neckline, which is beautiful, obviously the cinched waist, and then more of in between a sort of A-line and a full skirt, I'd say, with pleats through it. So it looks a very heavy material, completely different to, you know, the Bolero costumes that we immediately think of when we think of Jayne in a Bolero outfit. But then you can still, the minute you see her in purple, the first thing you think is Bolero, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Like I said, I think they even just a hint of purple, and you think of that straight away. And even there, obviously in that last picture we saw, Chris was not in purple at all, but you still think of Bolero and this their iconic um performance.
Now, this is one of my favorite looks of theirs. And again, it's not your traditional bolero at all, but she has a full feather skirt. It's a much, much deeper, darker. It's not even a royal purple. It's almost a midnight purple, isn't it? It's black almost with purple, a purple undertone. But then she's got this beautiful full skirt. Now, Jayne has these incredible legs. Hello, legs to die for. We all know that. But the fullness of the skirt really makes her look very toned and very cut there, and it makes her legs look just stunning. I mean, she's got very elegant legs anyway. She always has had very elegant legs. But this is quite a brave and a completely different choice for Bolero. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think you definitely hit the nail on the head there with that. They've had all these, they had the romantic look of Bolero. They've done, again, because I think they tried to sometimes reinvent Bolero as well. And I think we've been, both you and I, with having done so many series and tours of Dancing on Ice, they've done different versions of it where they've done a bit more circus themed one. They've done they're more nod to the original Bolero. They've done where they fly on silks as well. They've done all these kind of
Oh,
different
oh, there's the flying on silks one. There you go. As if by magic.
uh-huh. And there again, what I love here is again they're using a much darker midnight. What would you call it, broad, but darker, not the light purple that we saw. But then the silk that they're flying on is a purple. So again, as a whole look, you definitely just by looking at the picture, I would say that it brings Bolero to mind. So they've been very clever and inventive again with having all these different looks.
I think, you know, we when we speak about Jayne and Chris, they are the king and queen of reinvention, and I think they have done incredible things to keep ice skating relevant to the next generation. They didn't go, oh well, we won the Olympics in 1984 in this outfit, so this is what everybody will remember us for, so we'll keep it like this. Yeah, they've done Bolero time and time and time again in different versions of it and different iterations of it, but every time they've remastered it and they've reinvented it and they've just brought something new to the table so that each new generation that is experiencing it for the first time can feel like that Bolero belongs to them. It's not the Bolero of their parents or the Bolero of our generation. It's the Bolero of their generation. And I think that's probably, you know, part of the genius of why Jayne and Chris are still skating now, well into their 60s, and doing such an incredible job of being amazing ambassadors for ice skating, amazing ambassadors for ice dance, and just basically icons and legends. That's just all I've got to say, really.
Well, I think that's all you need to say. That was perfectly said. And again, just feeling it's an honor always to share the ice and have had shared the ice with them. So I think and they're very brave at creating new things and new looks and just not wanting, like you said, to settle for something that they did that was fantastic, but also really wanting to reinvent themselves and try new things, and I think that says a lot about their characters and they are wonderful and magical at everything they do. Looking
Speaking of bravery, I think it's time to quickly hit a tutorial. Now, I don't have much prep this week because we have done lips, eyes, contour, lashes, sparkles, hair. We've pretty much covered everything for you guys. But I think it is important that we touch on bravery. I hope that if anything that Dancing on Ice inspires, it inspires you to be brave in your choice of colors, in your choice of outfits. Go out there and try something outside of your comfort zone. And I don't mean you need to dress like a clown, but try. It's always great to sort of have a little go at home before you have your big night out. If you're wearing a purple dress, try a bit of purple eyeshadow. I have a purple eyeshadow on tonight. I've gone an ombre from the light to the dark. I've also gone with a darker purple cut crease. I've gone with a black smoky eye. I mean, I threw everything at it but the kitchen sink tonight. But then Alex, if you want to come towards the camera, Alex here, she's got a much peachier look, but she's also added a little bit of purple on the sides. If you turn to the side there, Alex, we can see that she's got a little bit of a purple stripe on the side there. So, I mean, there's always ways to incorporate colors into your makeup. So if you have a makeup style that you love, that's great. If it looks great on you, even better, amazing. But don't be afraid to add the odd color in here and there, the odd pop of color. You know, be brave with your choices because it's all about what makes you feel good. So I hope that if anything, we've empowered you to go out and try a sparkle eye and try a sparkle lip and try purple eyeshadow or peach eyeshadow or pink or whatever it is that takes your fancy. We have had an absolute blast with the Icebreakers lookbook. We have loved talking about all of the glamour and all of the glitz and all of the creatives. Sadly, this is our last lookbook. Alex, I am going to miss you so much, but Alex is joining the Dancing on Ice tour.
Whee! No, I'm excited to see you in person, hopefully very, very, very soon as well. But thank you so much. It's been amazing to do this podcast with you. And obviously had a little bit of a try being on Icebreaker's main episode. Matt had a bit of a scheduling episode there, but I was thrilled to see you both on the screen. And thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. And I really hope that Dancing on Ice isn't over yet. The story isn't over, that it continues, because otherwise what are we going to talk about? How are we going to talk about the glitz and glamour?
So Alex and I have absolutely loved being here with you guys, talking about all the glitz and the glamour of Dancing on Ice. We hope that we've inspired you to go out and be brave and try new colors and try new looks, try new hair, try new costumes. Please do leave us some notes in the comments if you've enjoyed the show so that we can make it bigger and better for next year if we are back next year. Alex, you have been the most fantastic co-host. I cannot thank you enough. You even made an appearance on the lookbook, you've been the lookbook, basically. I was the co-host on the lookbook, you were the main host on the lookbook. But you even made a little appearance on the main episode of Icebreakers too.
Well, no, thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure. And yes, that was a thrilling, very happy to see you and Matt back. And please, again, if you haven't caught their semi-final episode, obviously, make sure you go and do that and get it wherever you get your podcasts. But I've had such a fun time being here discussing all the looks with you. And really, yeah, it's been it's my first podcast. So I feel like I've been a bit of brave with this as well. So, you know, try new things. And it's been, such a pleasure. I really miss you. And I hope to see you in person very, very soon. But it's been a pleasure to see you on my screen for so many weeks.
Well, lots of love to you guys. We've loved hosting you. I've loved being here with Alex. It's love all over the room. We will see you for the big Bolero final. But for now, from Alex and I, this is our final lookbook. And we hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. Bye, you guys.
Bye. Thank you.